Hi, I'm Shreyas, and I have my guy Carter Stanley, former Kansas quarterback. And this is another episode of Rock Chalk Film Room. It's been a while. It's the start of another Kansas football season. Kansas plays Fresno State on Saturday. They're 12.5-point favorites as of now. It's going to be a difficult game. A lot of different faces on this Kansas team with over 30 guys graduating, 15 starters leaving. The Kansas reloaded in the transfer portal and in their high school class. But the big question is, and the big addition that comes back from last season is Jalon Daniels, right? It's his last year of playing college ball. He's a sixth-year quarterback. He gets Jim Zebrowski gets elevated from quarterback's coach to OC, and he's been working with him for 5 years. So as we go into this game, me and Carter are asking, how is Jalon going to look with Zebrowski as the offensive coordinator, which we saw firsthand a couple of years ago against UNLV in the bowl game, and what is he going to kind of showcase against Fresno State? So let's kind of get started. Carter, can you kind of run me through what is going on right here?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so this is from 2022 college game day game against TCU. Won't get into the final result because I'll get mad, but no, I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully some of this because, last year when we started off the season, I think it was either just run the ball or drop back pass. And there was no kind of in between, limited play actions, limited RPOs. And I really like this one because this is a really easy read for the quarterback. You're hard fake on the jet sweep and, you're never going to hand that off. But first read right there, Mason Fairchild up the seam. If he's there, take him. Again, your eyes are kind of in the same spot. If he's not there, you're going to Casey, who's just a couple yards to the left of him. And then if he's not there, you got the cross/dig route kind of coming right into that same area. So QB doesn't have to look all over the field, make a full field read. And, I'm looking forward to more of those just simple reads where the eyes are, really on just kind of one part of the field.
Yeah, I think Kansas is going to have a lot more dynamic of a tight end room this year compared to last year. A lot more athletic than they were last year. I mean, Deshaun Hanika said it best to me. He's like, no disrespect to the guys last year. And he was like, I love my guys last year. But I think we just have a lot of different variables that they can push is what he was telling me. And I think they can. I mean, they brought in a Rice tight end in Roden Groen, who's going to be pretty good, I think, for them in the pass catching game. Deshaun Hanika is a veteran tight end. Leighton Cure, a guy who can block with the best of them. Just a lot of different dynamics I think this tight end room offers. And I think last year they were really missing having Mason Fairchild, where he was that blanket of security, I think, that Jalon relied on in tight moments in the red zone, et cetera. And Jared Casey, obviously, he played well last year, but I think he just wasn't quite the same player that Mason Fairchild was out there. And I think Kansas will have the chance to be a little more dynamic and animated and kind of do a lot of different things with their tight ends because just a lot of different options between the four players.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm hoping the timing is good too. Just not a lot of just long drop back passes, which ironically enough, the second clip we were showing, it's more of a kind of dragged out play action, which takes more time to develop. But, I'm hoping for some, just bang, bang read, get the ball out quick, and, hopefully more of that just to start off the season.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think, you want to make things as easy as possible for Jalon Daniels. He's done really well in camp. Lance Leipold has raved about it and talked about how he's one of the stand-up performers. And that's exactly what you want to hear, right? He's a sixth-year quarterback. This is his last year of college football. This is his last opportunity to kind of showcase the NFL scouts how much and how improved, how good he is. And, I was talking to his quarterback coach a few days ago. And, last year when you look back at the tape, I think the issue he had in the first half of the year is he was just trying to do too much. Too many home run balls, too many tight windows. He was trying to fit it in. And he seemed to really settle down in the second half. I think he also understood the offense a little better. They had a different offensive coordinator who's now left for Wisconsin. And I think having Zebrowski elevated and having him back in a prominent role, I think will only help Jalon Daniels early in the season compared to, I think, what he had to deal with Grimes last year.
Right. Yeah, going into his 6th year, I mean, it's hard to find a QB across the whole country that has more experience than JD. So that's awesome to see, and I think he will come out really confident. Again, he's been in the program for 6 years, and a new offensive coordinator technically, but it's been his QB coach pretty much every year he's been there, with the exception of his freshman year. So I think he's going to come out of camp really confident. And again, I hope they could just kind of make it simple to start off the season, at least just let him get in a groove instead of trying to take the deep shots. And once we get going here in the season, I think we might see more of this. At least I'm hoping we can. And games where you're establishing the run, which I still think is absolutely going to be the MO of this offense, kind of run first and then go around that. But, I'm hoping we could see more plays like this clip from the 2023 bowl game, where Coach Z was actually the offensive coordinator for this game. And what you'll see is just a hard fake on the play action. Again, they probably had a number of runs before this play, and you could see just how much time Jason, being the quarterback at the time, had to throw this ball. Great route, and Trevor Wilson here ends up being wide open just because it's the scheme that gets him open. It's not like he broke off a guy or ran this incredible route, but just the scheme allows him to be open, and it's a nice, easy throw for the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things when you look back at last year's tape, the guys who were in the wide receiver room were struggling to get open. I think Jeff Grimes just wasn't doing the best job of kind of putting these guys in a position to succeed and put Jalon in a position to succeed as he's coming back from back surgery, right? And when you look back at all of that, they have a completely new wide receiver room. They brought in a bunch of transfers. The guys that raved about at camp have been Emmanuel Henderson Jr. from Alabama, a guy who's a complete burner, one of the fastest guys on the team. Obviously, it takes some time to kind of build that chemistry. And it's not what he had with Luke Grimm and Quentin Skinner and Lawrence Arnold, but the guys they've brought in are a little different dynamic-wise, are a little more athletic, I think, and they offer Jalon Daniels an opportunity to kind of really see a different sort of pass-catching trio than he's had for most of college football. And that's not disrespect to Luke Grimm or any of those other guys, because they're great players, but I think Emmanuel Henderson, with the hype around him and what I've heard and what they've said basically since he's come on campus, I think he has a chance to be the best number one Jalon Daniels has had since he's been in Lawrence.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think, and like you said, it's a new group for sure. So, it's not like this is Lindenwood like we opened up with last year, which, honestly, considering the lack of games that this unit has together, I would actually love for kind of a cupcake opener. But it's going to be guns ablaze that first game. It's Fresno State, great opponent. So hopefully we could just get in a roll early. And again, I think just efficient play, quick reads, get the ball out quick for the quarterback. Rely on the run game. Just do some of that week 1, week 2, more of the same. And then once you get more comfortable, you could kind of open it up a little bit more.
100%. Appreciate it. And always a pleasure having you on, Carter, and talking ball. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.